Hey guys, I'm Emiline, aka Winterstar Cosplay, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you all about how to manage multiple social media platforms as a content creator or creative artist. Now, I've been managing my personal and business brand of Winterstar Cosplay for a while now, through things like an Instagram, YouTube channel, TikTok, Twitter, Amino, Pinterest, and a website and email list, among a few others. Now, is this a lot? Yes, kind of. Is it maybe slightly overkill for a single business? Possibly, I don't know. I've been able to keep up with it, and in this video I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for how to manage multiple social media platforms as a content creator, artist, or small business owner. First off, it can be a good idea to set aside some time to brainstorm content ideas. It doesn't have to be a lot, just however much time you can set aside to just sit down and brainstorm ideas of content for your different social media platforms. You can look at what other people have done, look at what's done well in the past, maybe look at websites with lists full of ideas, maybe come up with your own original ideas. Whatever it may be, come up with a long list of ideas and write it all down somewhere or type it digitally so that you can always have a list on hand when you're short on ideas for content. Taking the time to do this further in advance can really help you when you're stressing and you're trying to figure out something to post for 3 different social media platforms 5 minutes from now. Something else that you can do that I have had varying levels of success with is planning and scheduling your content ahead of time. I know that a ton of content creators, small business owners, and creatives have found a lot of success with this, and I know for me, I've had varying levels of success with it depending on a couple different factors. I have found that it is a good idea to at least know how often you're going to post. For my Instagram, for example, I post every 1 to 3 days, though I try to post every 1 to 2 days. For my YouTube channel, I try to upload videos every Friday at around the same time of day, just a little bit before noon. Not all of the social media platforms I'm on do I have as rigid of a schedule as this. For my Twitter and Amino accounts, I kind of just post whenever, trying to post something at least every day or two, but I don't really have a set schedule that I stick to like I do for YouTube. Some people go at the beginning of the week or even the beginning of the month and know exactly what they're going to post, when they're going to post it, and even have captions and tags and all of that pre-written already. I have tried that before. It personally hasn't worked for me, but I do know that a lot of people do have success with that method. However flexible or rigid you want to make it is totally up to you. And something else to remember is that it's okay if you miss a day. People always are trying to keep up with the algorithm and make sure that they don't miss a post a day no matter what, but it's okay to take breaks, it's okay to miss a day, and that's all totally fine. Your account and the algorithm will manage to survive. Okay, moving on a bit from that, I personally have found that it is pretty tricky to schedule content or be able to post anything when I don't have anything to post. So how can you get around this problem? How can you always try to have a backlog of things that you can post when you're in a rush? Well, one method that I have found to be really helpful with that is batching content. Batching is essentially when you create a whole bunch of content at once so that you don't have to go and just create a little bit a whole bunch of times. Instead, you can just make it all at once and have enough content for several days, weeks, or even months. Here's an example of how batching content might work for me as a cosplayer / content creator, though you can adjust these methods to suit whatever business or content creator niche you may be in. Say I put on a cosplay and it takes an hour or two to do all the makeup and put on the costume and set up my lights and photography equipment and everything, so I want to be able to get as much content out of that effort as I possibly can. So for instance, I may film a time-lapse while I'm applying my makeup for Instagram Reels or for a TikTok. I might take a before and after picture. I will also probably take some selfies and then some mirror selfies just to get a little bit of different content for more casual posts. Once I'm fully in cosplay, I might take some full body shots, some portrait shots, some detail shots, some behind the scenes photos, all of the above so I can get as much content as possible to work with. And once I've taken all the pictures I want, I might go on to TikTok and then film a bunch of TikToks in that cosplay so that I only have to put it on the one time, but have 15, 20, 25 TikToks to work with. Since TikTok allows you to save your videos as drafts, it's actually really easy to have a whole backlog of TikToks ready to upload. See how much content I was able to get out of that cosplay just wearing it the one time and putting in a little bit of extra effort? Kind of insane, actually. Another more general idea of how this method might apply to pretty much any niche is when you're filming YouTube videos. Let's say that it takes me maybe half an hour to an hour to get everything set up and ready to film YouTube videos. Well, if I'm running a bit shorter on time and I know that I'm going to be busy over the next few weeks, I can just film all of my YouTube videos for the next little bit all at once. I would have to go and write out a few new scripts ahead of time, which is where planning can come really in handy when batching content, but then I can just go ahead and have all my scripts ready and film multiple YouTube videos with all of the same setup on the same day. To avoid making it look like it's all done on the same day, I will sometimes change outfits in between filming so then it looks like I've been filming on different days. It's definitely been a really handy method for me, especially when I know I'm going to be a little bit busier over the next few weeks. Something else that can be really helpful when you're managing multiple social media platforms is to reuse and recycle content. Say that you have a really good photo shoot and you get some great pictures out of it. You could just post some of them to Instagram and call it a day, but what about Twitter, or what about TikTok, or all these other platforms that you're trying to keep up with? Well, as a matter of fact, you can actually use those same pictures on other platforms as well. That way, you don't have to be constantly creating brand new content for every single social media platform every single day. If I had to do that, I would most definitely not be able to keep up with the number of social media platforms that I use. Some people will post exact copies of one photo and one caption from one social media platform to another, but I personally like to add at least a little bit of variation. Maybe editing the photos a little bit differently, maybe changing the caption up a little bit, maybe adding different tags, maybe doing a slightly different photo on one platform as to another. Just adding this little bit of variation ensures that people who might follow you on different social media platforms won't just be seeing the same thing repeated 3 or 5 different times. While posting the same picture and the same caption can work for some people, I do try to add at least a little bit of variation. That being said, if you're in a rush or you just really like how the content on one platform came out, you can absolutely just repost the exact same thing across social media platforms. In addition, you can also repost things you've already posted before. A good rule that I found when I am reposting things I've already posted before is make sure it's been at least a couple of months, and also try to add just a little bit of variation. Maybe crop the picture a little bit differently, maybe add a carousel of pictures, maybe add a different caption. Whatever it is that you're doing, don't just repost the exact same thing. And again, don't just repost a bunch of old pictures all the time, otherwise people will get tired of seeing the exact same thing from you day after day after day. Something else that you can do on different social media platforms is cross-promote. Let's say that you spent a whole bunch of time on a new YouTube video and you really want people on your Instagram to know about it so that they can go watch it. There are a lot of posts that you can get out of a single YouTube video. You can take your YouTube thumbnail and upload that as a post, encouraging people on the caption to go and watch it. You might upload a couple of screenshots from the video, or if it's a tutorial video or a making of, showing the final product. That can be a great idea too. Doing all these different things can really help cross-promote your video and help encourage more people to see it. And you can get some great posts out of it as well. Cross-promoting is mainly what I use my Pinterest for. I will take the Instagram posts that I made or new YouTube videos or blog posts and create a link for them and a cover image and then just upload them to Pinterest, saving them to a couple different Pinterest boards I have. This way it's not a ton of extra work for me, but then it also helps all the people on Pinterest be able to see that I have a new YouTube video or I have a cool new Instagram post to show them. Doing things like this can really help save you time and effort and can still create some great content. The final thing I wanted to talk about was just not to stress too much. I know I mentioned this earlier, but it is okay if you miss a day. It's okay if you take a break from social media for a week or a month or longer and then just come back to it when you're ready. I know there are a ton of videos and posts and articles out there about how to beat the algorithm and the best keywords and tags to use and all of the best posting times and all of that, and if you miss a day, then basically the algorithm will decide that your content is garbage and not show it to anybody. It's slightly exaggerated, in my opinion. The algorithms for every social media platform are different and they are constantly changing. Every time you think you figured out how they work, they will do something that completely surprises you, or they'll just update the algorithm and everything that you thought you knew will just go out the window. In my opinion, while it can be a good idea to do at least a little bit of research into the algorithm, you definitely shouldn't spend all your time on it and don't stress about it too much. Because chances are you're never going to be perfect with the algorithm every single time. And while the algorithms can be important for showing people your work, your audience is actually more important. A lot of the algorithm depends on people seeing your work and also engaging with it. And people, chances are, won't engage with it unless they care about you. And if they care about you and care about the things that you are creating, they will find a way to see the content you're creating, even if the algorithm doesn't want them to. They'll go to your website, they'll manually search for you on Instagram or YouTube, they'll check back every once in a while to see if you've uploaded something new. So all in all, you don't need to worry that much about the algorithm. Maybe worry about it a little bit, but definitely don't spend all your time making content that you think will please the algorithm, because eventually you will make that shift from creating things that your audience wants to see and things that you want to make into creating things that the algorithm wants to see. And eventually you will start to lose some of why you started making those things in the first place and why your audience started following you. So, those were all the tips I had for you for managing social media as a content creator, a creative artist, or a small business owner. All of these principles can be applied in different ways, and you can definitely feel free to take as many of these as you want and change and adjust them to fit what you need. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.